relentless search is underway for 3 American sailors missing at sea after a naval plane crashed in the Pacific Ocean near Okinawa.
It's been more than a year since Hillary Clinton's 2016 defeat, but the excuses just keep on coming. She put the blame on a new person, President Obama.
When you run to succeed a 2-term president of your own party, you have a historical headwind blowing against you.
President Trump was elected. You may not have liked it, but that she's trying to upend it with this nonsense on this What Happened tour is a disgrace.
Excitement fills the air as the helium fills the massive balloons that will be the star attraction of Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Security is extra tight this year with measures that resemble the Times Square ball drop. There will be bag checks and no coolers are allowed.
Vice President Mike Pence and his wife Karen visited with some of the heroes spending their Thanksgiving at Walter Reed Medical Center.
We're thankful for our heroes, and you're one of them. Okay, good. God bless you.
Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome to Fox and Friends. An interesting crew today.
Interesting, to say the least.
Happy
Molly
Thanksgiving.
Line.
Molly Line, I get to be here with Grip and Todd this morning.
Good to see everybody. By the way, if you were laughing at home at that graphic where the Mayflower sort of went into the ocean and then stuff shot out, we were cracking up too. We'd never seen that before. It's a very comical graphic.
Well, let me tell you, happy Thanksgiving. And that last segment that came into us, I'm now practicing my carving tips because I feel like I'm going to win this contest. We're going to have carving a turkey, you know. It looked like Carly Shimkus in our last hour really had it.
I think she was practicing. I think she spent weeks working with knives or something.
And also, people are getting ready across the country. They're getting their birds. Some people, unfortunately, are right now saying, oh my gosh, I've got a bird. I don't know what to do with it. I have a family that's starving. They're going to be here in 4 hours. What do I do? Well, guess what? We have Janice Stahl here to help us out from Butterball.
There she is.
She is going to give us some tips. Hey, Janice, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for having me back again.
So people right now across the country, some of them, and we won't name them unless they email us at friends@foxnews.com. We will name you. They need to cook a turkey. How do you do it? Is this hard?
It is one of the easiest things you can prepare. Honestly, all you're going to do is you're going to get a nice roasting pan with maybe 3 inches on the side. The turkey in the roasting pan up on a rack. You're going to put some vegetable oil on it. That's a beautiful brown crispy skin. Maybe some salt and pepper. Preheat your oven to 325. Turkey, and you're not going to stuff it. You're looking at about 3.5 hours in the oven. When you pull it out, you're going to rest for about 20, 25 minutes. You can even let it rest for half an hour to 45 minutes. They really retain their heat. And then you'll go ahead and carve it, and you've got great carve tips going on there.
You make it sound easy, but man, I've never done it before, but bless those folks that are out there doing it right now. We're all looking forward to that turkey today.
Yeah, we also, in addition to wanting your questions, we also want to know what you are doing for Thanksgiving.
And what you're thankful for.
Exactly. Email all that stuff to us, friends@foxnews.com.
And you have to be careful, by the way, because, and I'm just going to tease this, my first Thanksgiving after 19 years of marriage ended up with fire trucks. We'll tell you more about that later.
Oh, and bless the first responders because they are out there today working hard.
But we have some news that we've got to get to because there's still news happening even though it is Thanksgiving.
A lot of serious stuff out there right now. Sexual harassment allegations continuing to rock Washington.
More women now accusing Senator Al Franken as fellow Democrat John Conyers refuses to step down.
This while Republican Joe Barton fires back at the woman who shared his explicit photo.
Garrett Tenney live for us in Washington this morning with more. Garrett, good morning.
Todd, Molly, and Griff, good morning to you. Senator Al Franken is facing a growing list of women who say he groped them without their consent. The Huffington Post reports 2 more women have come forward with stories of Franken touching their butts without their consent in 2007 and 2008 during his first campaign for the Senate. One of the alleged incidents took place during a photo op at an event with the Minnesota Women's Political Caucus. The second allegedly took place during a Democratic fundraiser in Minneapolis, where the woman claims Franken suggested they visit the bathroom together. Both of the women who spoke to the website are unnamed, but their stories are very similar to the experience another woman went public with earlier this week. Franken told the Huffington Post he doesn't remember either event and denies he suggested anyone should join him in the bathroom. Franken is not alone, though. Last night, another woman came forward with accusation against Democrat Congressman John Conyers. Melanie Sloan told the Washington Post that Conyers harassed and verbally abused her when she worked for him on Capitol Hill in the 90s. Even before that came out, though, Conyers' hometown newspaper, along with several fellow Democrats, were calling for him to step down. Congresswoman Kathleen Rice said Representative John Conyers should resign. I've reviewed the allegations against him, and they are as credible as they are repulsive. As of right now, though, Conyers has no plans of stepping down, and an attorney tells us Congressman Conyers has no plans to resign. He intends to cooperate with the House should they determine further investigation is warranted. Across the aisle, Texas Republican Joe Barton is now apologizing after a nude photo and sexually explicit text messages from him were leaked on social media and went viral this week. The 68-year-old is blaming a woman he had a relationship with while separated from his second wife and said in a statement, "This woman admitted that we had a consensual relationship. When I ended that relationship, she threatened to publicly share my private photographs and intimate correspondence in retaliation. The Capitol Police reached out to me and offered to launch an investigation, and I have accepted." As for Congressman John Conyers, Fox News has also learned the Congressional Black Caucus, in which Conyers is the most senior member, has scheduled a 2-hour sexual harassment training for its members next Thursday. Todd, Molly, and Griff.
Garrett Tenney live for us in Washington this morning. Garrett, thanks, and happy Thanksgiving. All right. That's not the reason those individuals were put there in D.C., not to deal with sexual harassment stuff. Unfortunately, it is something they need to deal with. What they do need to deal with and what they were put there for is the agenda. And President Trump this week, according to reports, is going to meet with congressional leaders throughout the end of November, beginning of December, to go over the things that are out there right now. One question, are we a little bit closer to approving tax reform? Griff laughs at that. Senator Murkowski.
I live in Washington. I cover this every day. Are they closer? Look, let me just tell you real quick that, there's a big meeting next week. That's what we're setting up here. You got the big four, as they're known. In the House, Ryan, Pelosi. In the Senate, McConnell and Schumer. And they're going to meet with President Trump. And they're going to try and get a little closer. But here's the problem. What's going to come out of that? What's on the table? DACA, deferred for the kids that came here as this country against their parents' will and now are going to lose their immigration status. But at the end of the day, is the math there, right? And so as people are talking about this in tax reform and in tax cuts and what's happening in Washington is become literally a sport. And we're going to get to sports as well because it's a sports state in the NFL. That's Steve's for you. But what's going to be talked about today is where you fall on the spectrum. And these are real. This is real money. This is real tax cuts. We've heard that every tax break is going to get something for them. So people are going to be talking about it.
Yeah, it's so complicated, too. We as this unfolds in the House, and we're finally seeing progress on that side, we don't know what will happen in the Senate. And when we talk about complicated numbers, you can dig into the House tax plan all you want, but what's going to matter is, do you have the numbers in the Senate to move forward? Well, and the compromises, as you mentioned, that'll be necessary.
One of those folks of the big four, Chuck Schumer. Now, he's the minority leader in the Senate because Democrats don't have a majority, Republicans do. And in the New York Times today, the failing New York Times, as they say.
Like Pete always writes on the top.
Pete likes to write it. It says, first line, Thanksgiving offers the warm embrace of inclusiveness. Well, so Senator Schumer has different ideas. In fact, he tweeted this just yesterday for your Thanksgiving. Bring this chart to Thanksgiving dinner. It'll come in handy when that family member who always talks politics tells you the Republican tax bill helps the middle class. I don't know if you can show. Can you show the chart? I printed the chart out. So this is bad news, bad. So Uncle Joe, if you're MAGA, if you like President Trump and you voted him in because you wanted something different, and you wanted to break the stalemate in Washington that's happened for decades, then you should show this to him and say that the tax bill isn't going to be good.
So maybe you're that relative that always talks politics if you show up with a chart.
Don't be that relative, America. Whatever you do, don't be that relative. Getting back to the facts of all this, like you said, we have to worry about this government shutdown thing. December 8th is not that far away. Take a look at your local stores and outside. There are Christmas decorations up already. We are close to that. Have to keep that in mind. Will, like you said, DACA be tied to that spending bill? What's going to happen with tax reform? We already heard Lisa Murkowski say, I really think that the mandate should be left out of that. But if you hear her people speak, they are not necessarily saying she is for the tax reform bill. So besides, Chuck Schumer showing these kind of charts, he also is going to be in this meeting with the president, hopefully, hammering things out here over the course of the next week.
Why's he got to ruin Thanksgiving?
I'm trying to be positive.
Senator Schumer, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Why are you got to go? I cover you. I like you. You're friendly. You talk all the time when we come around with cameras, but why you got to ruin Thanksgiving? You know, that's just going to cause problems at the
Classic
dinner
sugar.
table, and you're already going to eat too much and have indigestion. These are not the political problems you need with your turkey.
What are you going
and
to do with
stuffing.
that, Shark Griff? You're not taking that with you
It's a
today, are you?
placemat.
No, no, no. But with that, we got to go. We got to check in with Jillian, who's got some news. Hi, Jillian.
Hi, Griff. Hi, Molly. Hi, Todd. Good morning. Good morning to you at home. Happy Thanksgiving. We do have some breaking news to get to right now, so let's get you caught up with this Fox News alert. The frantic search for 3 missing sailors expanding after a Navy cargo plane plummeted into the Philippine Sea. They were flying from a Japanese station to the USS Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier about 500 miles off the coast of Okinawa, Japan. 11 sailors were on board total. 8 have been rescued and are okay. Japanese forces joining in the search, which the Navy calls relentless. The hunt for answers about the brutal attack on the border intensifying. The injured patrol agent now out of the hospital but doesn't remember what happened. The FBI is treating Officer Martinez's death as a potential assault. Union representatives with the National Border Patrol Council say Martinez and the surviving agent were viciously attacked with rocks. The feds offering a $25,000 reward for anyone with information to help close this case. As millions take to the skies for Thanksgiving, the TSA is tightening security. New screening procedures require passengers to remove electronics larger than a cell phone. The rule is being rolled out as a report reveals agents missed up to 80% of weapons and undercover tests. And New York City on high alert for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Police checking bags as trucks filled with sand line the streets and bomb-sniffing dogs patrol the crowds. We will check in live with Adam Klotz, who is on the parade route in just a few minutes, so stay tuned for that. That's not Adam, right? Good point, Todd. Today may be Thanksgiving, but it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas at the White House. First Lady Melania Trump sharing photos of the holiday preparations underway at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Mrs. Trump hanging ornaments on a tree, putting the finishing touches on a wreath, and checking out a gingerbread replica of the White House. How cool is that? I love getting into the holiday spirit.
I love to see that. Yeah, to see it already starting and to see her putting the finishing touches there at the White House. It's so beautiful.
I know.
It just glistens during the holidays.
Griff, I don't know if you're down with this.
Listen,
you're giving me a look.
Here's what I want to know, because I want to know, what is your favorite side dish for Thanksgiving? We got to talk about it. That is really the main attraction, the side dishes.
Mashed potatoes, but that's my main dish because I don't eat meat. So it's like a big plate of mashed potatoes.
But we want
as many as possible.
Don't tell yours, because we want to hold that. We want to hear what yours are. This is the 18th time we've asked you to do this. We're going to ask you a 19th time. Email us, friends@foxnews.com.
Absolutely. All right. This video is insane. A woman stuck on the tracks, a train seconds away when strangers jump in to help. So what happens next?
And I love this. When she finally came out of the woods, the excuses, well, they did as well.
Because of the pressures from outside forces, the Comey letter was the proximate cause.
But is Hillary Clinton the biggest political turkey of the year? We'll get into that when Fox and Friends on a Thanksgiving morning returns.
From Hillary Clinton's list of excuses to the long process of trying to repeal Obamacare, there have been several controversial but memorable moments in the world of politics this year.
Here to help us break down the top political turkeys of 2017, GOP communications specialist and speechwriter TJ McCormick. TJ, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for joining us here on this beautiful Thanksgiving Day.
Good to be here.
We're here to talk turkey, but
Yeah.
not the traditional kind of turkey that everyone's thinking of.
No,
right?
the political kind, the foot in the mouth kind. Yeah.
Now let's get right to our very first political top turkey is.
Sure. It is Hillary Clinton.
Oh, no drum roll there?
No drumstick roll. No, no. Hillary Clinton. You know, she comes out of the woods after spending some time on some sort of self-imposed sabbatical, taking selfies and foraging for nuts and berries. And Hillary comes out, and you would think that she finds some humility in there. She?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Let me just give it to you in her own words. We have a little clip I think you may appreciate.
Because of the pressures from outside forces, because of the reality TV candidate I was running against, the Comey letter was the proximate cause.
The very clear policy of the Republican administration in Wisconsin to shrink the electorate and suppress votes certainly cost me votes.
That list is longer than the side dishes.
She's gonna sit down today and blame the stuffing. You know, she is absolutely unwilling to take any responsibility at all. She had a great opportunity to take some responsibility, show some humility, and humanize herself, and she blew it. The name of her book should be What Happened to Me, you know?
Now, she's not the only one. Who's your next turkey?
Yeah.
You're bipartisan in your turkey picking.
I am bipartisan in my turkey picking, and I believe that the skinny repeal, the tacky terminology of the year, here come the Republicans running for years and years on repeal and replace, and they do neither. And then they come back to us and say, we're going to do a skinny repeal. We're going to give you a gimmick here. We're going to take out some of the stuff and leave you with the rest of the garbage and let this thing collapse under its own weight. And it didn't work. It didn't work. And they have done nothing in an entire year, the Republicans. And they've got the House, the Senate, the White House, and they can't get it done. And so shame on them.
And it just smarted to have even the thin one fail as well.
Yeah,
the extra tap.
And real quick, I want to get one more in, which people may have forgotten, but it is a obscure congressman by the name of Ted. He's your last turkey.
Ted Lieu is this just is so out of touch and terribly tone deaf. Ted Lieu, in the wake of the terrible Texas massacre at the church there, they're holding a moment of silence on the floor of the Congress, and he leaves. He gets up and he walks out of a moment of silence, not because he's overcome with emotion or because he suddenly doesn't feel well. He steps out to do a Facebook Live. He goes out to do a social media. In this day and age of me, usually the one thing that brings us together is coming together after a tragedy. But this guy gets up and goes out, and he makes a posting about how stricter gun laws are going to end these moments, which, hey, that may or may not happen, but you know what? It can wait. Take a moment.
Well,
it's not about you.
What won't wait is a commercial break that we've got coming up. TJ, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for bringing your turkeys to us. Another Democrat turns on the Clintons, but what difference does it make when they don't have any political power? We debate it next.
And this homeless vet used his last $20 to save a stranded woman. And what happened next?
24 minutes after the hour now on your Thanksgiving morning. Thanks for being with us. Some quick headlines now. We now know the names of the pilots involved in a deadly Air Force crash in Texas. Captain Paul J. Barber from California died when his training jet went down near the Mexico border. The only other person on board, Captain Joshua Hammervold, has been released from the hospital. That crash is still under investigation. And Vice President Mike Pence giving thanks to those who risked their lives for our freedom. He and his wife Karen visiting injured soldiers at Maryland's Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. They also handed out special coins, bracelets, and flowers. Griff, over to you.
Thanks, Todd. Another Democrat comes swinging at the Clintons, slamming the former president's alleged sexual misconduct.
Not only did people look the other way, but they went after the women who came forward and accused him. And so it doubled down on not only bad behavior, but abusive behavior. And then people attacked the victims. And you can watch that same pattern repeat. And it needs to end. It needs to be over.
But is this too little too late? Here to debate is founder and CEO of New Blue Interactive and former managing director for the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, Taryn Rosencrantz, and founder of Bold, Carrie Sheffield. Carrie, thank you. Let me start with you, Taryn. Too little too late. Why now? Kathleen Sebelius is now being bold and coming out there and saying, oh, well, this is terrible. She has no political standing.
Well, and whether she does or not, I'm really glad that we're having these conversations. I think the silver lining on all of this tragic stuff that's happening and this abusive stuff that's happening is that we're finally starting the conversations. When it happened with Donald Trump and we had it on tape, everybody was so outraged. And yet that moment goes away and it gets swept back under the rug again, if you will. Continuing to have these conversations, talking about the mistakes of the past, talking about what's happening in the future, and holding accountable leaders like we're seeing today, I think is really important. And I think it's not too little too late. I think it's the beginning. We're opening the door and we're starting these conversations that are so important to women everywhere because we need to end this abusive behavior.
That's a good point.
No matter who it is.
Although this is the former HHS Secretary, Kathleen Sebelius, and she has no political standing right now. Carrie, what do you make of these comments now from former folks in power that are now, choosing to take the high road, if you will.
Sure. Well, good morning, Griffin. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone at home. And to the president, if you're watching, sir, happy Thanksgiving. But I have to say, I think this is, it's never too late to do the right thing. I agree. So I'm glad she's saying this. But it seems really rich that, when the stakes are pretty much the lowest possible, then she comes out and shows, as you said, her boldness. I don't really think this is a bold move. I think this is pandering. It's piling on top of the moment. The zeitgeist has pretty much already passed at this point. I would have loved to see this courage when it mattered. 2016, when a sexual predator like Bill Clinton was, going to be in the White House potentially, Bill Clinton paid $850,000 to Paula Jones for a sexual harassment settlement. That's not something that you do if you're innocent. Not to mention just repeated offense after offense after offense. And that man would have been in the White House again. This wasn't happening in the 1990s. We didn't have this conversation around women coming forward and being heard and listened to and taken seriously. But we're having it now. So it's yet another reason why I'm thankful that we have President Trump in the White House. He has spurred this conversation. And I agree with you. In this moment, I am glad to see that, left, right, this is a post-partisan issue. And I do hope that the left will finally put to rest their lie about this, quote, war on women, because we see it, people on the left, men, powerful men on the left who are doing the exact same thing and worse in many cases.
Well, wait a second. Taryn, let me let you respond to this. Are you saying that sexual misconduct allegations is going to be the point of bipartisanship we want in Washington?
Well, maybe it should be. I mean, this is not a partisan issue, and I think we're seeing that. The reason we don't need to talk about what Bill Clinton did in 2016 was because at the time, the presidential candidate was on tape saying disgusting things about women and talking about sexual harassing behavior. So we were talking about the candidate. The woman who was running, the woman was Hillary Clinton, not her husband. And I don't want to mix that up. We should have been talking about the presidential candidate who was running and who had done that and been caught on tape. Well,
right,
that's heartbreaking to me. That's heartbreaking to me.
We're almost out of time. Carrie, let me let you give the last word here.
Kathleen Sebelius pointed out the women who came forward and said Bill Clinton was doing this to us. They were shamed. They were victimized all over again, and Hillary Clinton was part of that problem. So she was the culprit in 2016 as well. She demonized Monica Lewinsky. She demonized these women, and now their voices are being heard, and I'm glad for that.
And now, thanks to Carrie and Taryn, you folks have something to talk about over your Thanksgiving dinner, and happy Thanksgiving to former HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius. We appreciate that. Taryn, Carrie, thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And now, skinny people to the front, bagel eaters to the back. The turkey trot rules that have Thanksgiving runners seeing red ahead. And all eyes on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But the fun is already getting started. We'll take you there live. That's coming up, and it's awesome.
Still I've got
friends and all things being grateful. What are you grateful for? We did get some viewer emails. We've been thinking about it all day.
And by the way, that ship. We need that ship as much as we can possibly get. I'm not sure if it's the Pinta, Santa Maria, but we'll figure that out.
Is it the Mayflower? I'm going Mayflower.
Here, let me give you emails at friends@foxnews.com. By the way, James in Pennsylvania writing annual Thanksgiving 4 a.m. cardio workout with former Marine Sergeant 4A in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Wow, that is definitely industrious.
That's like something Hegseth would do,
Love it.
Pain is weakness leaving your body. And Leland in Florida says, I am very thankful to be living in the greatest country in the history of the world. Thank you, veterans, first responders, and my fellow Americans. Absolutely. So many of us grateful for that, as we should be.
Please make sure you email your photos, your recipes, what you think about the holiday, just anything. Email everything. Forward your inbox to friends@foxnews.com. Yeah, favorite side. We're going to be doing that throughout the course of the day. But right now, he's my roommate here at Fox. We share an office, and I kind of compared him to that large turkey we saw on the screen. He is not. He is a live human. He's awesome. His name is Adam Klotz. He is uptown at the starting point of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Got the front row seats.
Hey, Roomie.
Hey there, guys. This is my first Macy's Day Parade. It's the 91st overall. It's exciting, and I'm thankful for being here. I'm thankful for this big coat because it's cold. New Yorkers, it's going to be cold throughout the morning. But when you see Olaf, you got to be excited. He's one of 4 new characters. There's 17 balloons in all. He's one of 4 new character balloons that we're going to be seeing. The tallest overall. This one's 60 feet tall. That's the tallest balloon. Around 90 people. It takes around 90 people to control each one of these. Outside of that, when I'm coming in this morning, I'm seeing a huge police presence. Obviously, security is going to be top of mind throughout the day. When you think of Halloween, we had the terrorist attack, and now our next big event, that's going to be a top of mind. As a result, the police presence has been very strong. We've even been learning about smoke vapor dogs, and that's like...
I guess we lost Adam's mic there. We're going to check back in with him on the parade route over the course of the morning. Obviously, that is the big event here in New York City, but you heard him going into security. I don't know about you guys. When I was leaving here yesterday, just in our building, which is on 6th Avenue, I saw about 8 to 10 NYPD officers in the official, let's call it bomb gear. I hate to use that word, but that's what it is, getting our building ready. So we thank all of them. There's going to be a huge presence out there.
Look, we'll be back with that just a little later on in the show. And, you know, one of the other things that they're so concerned about, of course, the potential vehicle attacks. They've got the big trucks out there, the sand trucks, blocking areas, protecting pedestrian areas.
Well, I went down to see them blow the balloons up. I took pictures with Olaf, and just to get there took me and my family more than 2 hours because of the security.
Wow. All right, but a lot of other headlines. We want to get to Jillian so that Griff and I can go play around with a bunch of toys.
Griff, you met Olaf? Oh, my gosh. All right, we're going to have to hear more on that later. So I think his microphone is off. Let's get you caught up on your headlines. The Baltimore detective shot and killed with his own gun was set to testify against officers the day after he was killed. Sean Suter was expected before a federal grand jury for a case involving cops accused of shaking down citizens and conspiring with drug dealers. Suter was shot and killed after a struggle with an unidentified suspect who remains on the run. A GoFundMe page benefiting his widow and 5 kids has raised $45,000 so far. A woman stuck on train tracks is yanked to safety with seconds to spare. Watch the video. You can see her struggling to climb onto the platform at a train station in Australia. Several transit workers running over to pull her up right as the train approaches. They got her up safely just in the nick of time. Police believe she was drunk and trying to cross the tracks. Skinny runners move to the front? Bizarre rules just like that one, offending participants at a turkey trot race on Long Island in New York. The last-minute guidelines posted on the 5K's Facebook page asking runners to stand towards the back if they're wearing sneakers, purchased at Kohl's, wearing a race T-shirt, or if they just ate a bagel. Very weird and specific rules. Race organizers apologized, saying an insensitive volunteer wrote the post. A woman is repaying a homeless veteran who went above and beyond to help rescue her. Kate McClure says Johnny Bobbitt Jr. spent his last $20 and walked several blocks to buy her gas when she became stranded on a Philadelphia highway. At the time, he was a complete stranger. You can see the photo there of the two of them. To thank him, McClure has raised more than $115,000 for the former Marine technician. He fell on hard times after battling drug addiction. Wow, what an inspiring story. That's a look at your headlines. Let's go to Griff and Todd. What's up, guys?
Hey, thanks, Jillian. It wouldn't be Thanksgiving at Fox and Friends without Bass Pro Shops.
And while many Americans are putting their turkeys in the oven right now, we are about to deep fry our bird. Here to help kick things off is Bass Pro Shops' very own Luke Snyder. Luke, thanks so much for being here. I promised the viewers we would have toys. These are toys for dudes. But if you're a little one that wants to go see Santa, you guys do have toys there at Bass Pro Shops, and you have the big guy taking pictures.
That's right. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for having us back again. You know, at Bass Pro, we're just thankful to serve our customer that are passionate about the outdoors and conservation. We do have the big guy there. Bass Pro prides ourselves in doing Santa's Wonderland upright. So Santa is there till 5 o'clock today and all the way until December 24th. So bring him on down. You get a free photo with him.
Awesome. Can you get anything else you want from Santa? Because I have a list. It's a little long at Bass Pro Shops because those places are awesome. So I noticed there's, what is that? I think I recognize it as a turkey.
Tell me more about these turkeys.
So as we're looking at this turkey, we got the Butterball indoor electric fryer. So it's not too late to think about a different way to do the bird. There's no open flame on this, so you can use it inside. And it actually seals all the deal. So we're going to heat this to 350. Obviously, we got this one heating. While we're doing that, you can inject your bird. We sell all these marinades.
Like this.
With that.
Let's do it, Jane. What does this do?
Stick it in the bird, move it all around.
Any spot?
Any spot. I mean,
now, I've been practicing for this as a professional move. Here's how you do it.
Wow, you just went in. I'm going to be a little bit more gentle. And I'm going to totally
look at that.
You might just revive that.
Is that good?
Well,
I just
you
wanted
want
to do
spread
that.
it out
I know
a little
nothing
bit.
about
He's
that.
kind of got the hang of it, but
that's going to be a good bite right there, by the way.
Griff, I try to be respectful.
I'm just letting you know.
We sell all these marinades at Bass Pro. You can sprinkle even. Really, everybody's bird can just be their own.
Can you give it more marinade, by the way? Can you over-marinate this thing?
There is no such thing as over-marinade.
Okay, all right. And this is what it is. The Tony Sasheri's injectable roasted garlic and herb. They're sticking in there.
That's what we're using today.
The glove's coming on.
Now, you always hear in these sort of situations, we always show the video around Thanksgiving, oh my God, you're going to deep fry your bird and your whole house is going to burn down. Based upon what we have here, you say that's not going to happen. Why?
That's right, because this is has no open flame. It's all electric. It has a drain valve, porcelain bowl on the bottom. It's easy cleanup. So with the digital timer, you don't have to worry about overcooking this bird. You can just set it. It's a piece of cake, even for the novice turkey fryer. This.
Luke, I'm not going to bore you with this, but I could have used that oven 19 years ago when my marriage first started.
Yep, there you go.
I'll just leave it at that.
Just leave it at that. All right, let's kill that bird. One more. There we go.
In it goes.
That away. Okay. Jeff's going to help us out and open this up. So the thing you want to remember is never drop a frozen bird in this.
All right.
So this is, or it's going to take its last flight.
And we're going to drop that in there?
Yep, we're going to drop it in nice and slow because you're dealing with hot oil. But as it does this, it's going to seal.
Griff and I are going to stand back.
Listen to that.
It's going to seal all those juices that you guys just put in there in the bird.
All right, Luke, we got to go. We're going to let that do what it do. And we'll see you in another hour to go over more cool stuff. All
and
right,
we got deals that they've got. They got a
deals.
lot of good deals here for us.
He became a hometown hero when he turned his furniture store into a shelter during Hurricane Harvey. Now, that mattress store owner is opening his doors once again. He joins us live.
And will the NFL spoil your appetite with more national anthem protests today? Our next guest has a message for those players. Grow up or get out. Happy